Welcome back to this week's Coach's Corner. As we mentioned, we're starting spring sports in the month of March, and after talking girls soccer, we're going to talk boys soccer with Ben Steichen, our boys soccer coach and a Pohai grad and alum. How many years for you now, Ben?
This is number 7.
7th year as our head coach?
Yeah.
Wow. I still think you just graduated, but not quite, right?
Sometimes it feels like that, then it goes by too quickly.
Well, let me ask you. You coach the football, and coaches have different roles. In football, you're one of the guys that talks to the players maybe after they've had a bad game, or you kind of go in there in the locker room and are not as tough with them, and then you roll around to soccer where you are kind of the disciplinarian. Are those two hard things to kind of work out in your own mind?
I don't think they are. I really don't think they are, mainly because it's still practice the same thing as a head coach anyhow, because we're out there to really learn and progress, and we love the guys that we have that they just want to work hard and they're willing to listen to you, and so we take our time, and there's going to be ups and downs. We know that, we've been there, but coming in with the best attitude possible is one thing that I've learned. Maybe at the beginning it was tougher transitioning over, but I've learned to kind of balance it to where it's the same. I really believe, no matter which spot I'm in.
Well, people that know you wouldn't imagine that you have a mean bone in your body, but is there a point in time when Coach Steichen might get a little agitated?
I think so. I'm not a big fan of repeating myself, 3-4 times. Twice it can happen because players might be further away, or they may not have been there the first time we said it, so it just kind of depends. And there's always a breaking point. There's always a breaking point when we're in a game and things aren't going all right, but we try to keep, I try to keep a level head as much as possible.
Boy, it seems like this rolls around very, very quickly. You go from football, you transition into basketball, and now here you are getting ready to start the soccer season. And what kind of a boys soccer team do we have coming back, man?
We're going to have a little bit of an inexperienced team. We graduated 6 seniors, 6 starting offensive players, really. Now we're left to a lot of defensive players that we really like. They're a little bit younger, and we're transitioning some new guys in some new roles, some new positions, and then also some are going to be starting for the very first time when we play our first match on Friday.
Well, I know that it's always important to have seniors. You have some seniors on your team this year?
Yeah, actually, I've got 9 seniors, and we've got several of them gonna be big role players for us, and then others are just going to have to find their way into the team. They're new to the team, and so getting them acclimated and getting them ready to go and playing what we want to do and is always going to be a little bit longer of a process for them.
Well, you've got great education from other sports. Seniors can make a great contribution even if they don't start, even if they don't play very much. Everybody's contribution is still important.
Of course. I mean, you're in here to help them learn about teamwork, learn about how to really go through things with somebody else's help and ask for help. And I think that's always a big deal. And so they learn that even from there. I mean, they've got to get that help to get to that next level. And then by that time, they're also helping those other guys that are already at that level.
Open the season this Friday against Santa Fe. What type of team do they have, Coach?
They're going to have a quick, they're going to be talented. They're going to have a lot of technical ability. They're going to have speed and quickness. They're always a perennial favorite to be in the championship in their division. So, I mean, we're going to have a tough, sturdy test to open the season. And it really kind of prepares us a little bit more for our first district game next week.
And, of course, that's with Bixby coming up very soon.
Union.
Is that right?
Union's first.
Okay. Well, you look at your district, though, Coach, with Jinx and Bixby and with Union, and you've got some of the heavyweights, don't you?
Well, we always seem to have that, and it's always a plus to really go against those teams and see, how you can really play the game, how you're supposed to play the game, and then at the same time, what can you accomplish even when things aren't going right, and sometimes they don't, especially when you have to travel to Union or you have to travel to Bixby or Booker T. And so it's a testament that if you get in the playoffs or you have a successful season, you did it because you played against these top teams.
And it prepares you for the playoffs too, doesn't it?
Always. I mean, as far back as I can remember playing here and then also coaching here as an assistant and now as a head coach, playing those teams and going against those teams, they're tough, and sometimes mentally you have to, prepare yourself extra mentally depending on what they have. But it was always a fun little case to actually go against.
Ben Steichen, our boys soccer coach, these first couple of weeks, you're going to play in temperatures that people really don't think of soccer being played in. Soccer is a warm weather sport. Is that an advantage or a disadvantage for your team, or isn't it an advantage for either squad?
It can be either or for both squads. I mean, when you look at playing in cold weather, you can have the opportunity to get injuries a little bit easier. You can have the opportunity to have the other team make mistakes as they go through, and it changes the pace of your game because what it does to your conditioning. Your conditioning is a little bit different in the colder weather than it will be in the warmer weather. So, I mean, it can go either way. And we look at it as it can be a positive for us, especially since we don't always have the numbers coming out for our teams as other teams in the state do. So we think that it can actually be an advantage for us at times, and then at the same time, it can be a disadvantage, especially technically.
Well, one thing about it, January and February was so beautiful, you've probably got all your work in outdoors too.
We've gotten a lot of work in, and we're going to try to get some in this week anyhow, even though it's been a little nastier. But yeah, that was a real big plus on really getting things together and getting things going with what we needed to have done and accomplished. So I'm feeling that we are prepared, but we always like to take these first 2 weeks before spring break and say, hey, they're part of the season, but they're the part of the season that's really going to lead us into our heavyweight part.
Who is assisting you this year on the soccer team?
I've got Anthony Hallam, who I coached with in football, as well as two former players are helping both teams out. We've got Jacob Black back as our goalkeeper coach. He was part of the 04 state finalist team. And then also Enan Favela, who actually played for me and is just finishing up down at OSU. Played 4 years of college ball and now is back finishing his degree and wanting to help out.
Good to see you, my friend, Ben Steichen. Good luck this season as
Thanks,
the
sir.
boys soccer team, along with the girls, open their season this week. We wish them good luck. For Coach Steichen, Phil Turney, have a great week.